Hey there. Thanks for coming back. I really appreciate it. So in this section, what we're going to do is go through some more of the steps in the mind map. This section is really it's really a big deal, you guys. So I hope you're excited about it. And it's talking about branding ourselves. Okay, so it's our opinion, and I believe that it's shared by many, that branding yourself these days is a very big deal. And if it's uncomfortable, that's okay. You're not alone, and get comfort in knowing that you're not alone in this. And what we're going to do is we're going to do our best to help make it more comfortable for you. So I'm gonna do a few clicking, popping things around here, make my head a little bit smaller, show you what we're talking about, and then dive right in. So as you can see in our branding kit guide, we have a few various things that we're going to be discussing. Today, this video right here is on this one right here. So I'm going to dive right in and open up a couple other pages. So what we typically do when we work with people, and this is what we did for ourselves, we even did this for our kids, frankly, is we just have the URL for their particular name.com. Is we just go to GoDaddy, okay? You type in name, and we go from there, right? So sorry I have slow internet, it looks like, but John Smith obviously isn't going to be available. What ends up happening is that it pops up some other options, okay? So the reason that I put in a really common name like this, or a potentially common name, is because for a couple of reasons. Number one is it gives you a few options, right? It gives you some brainstorming potential here. It says that you can buy John J. Smith for a certain dollar amount, but there's also these other new ones down here as well. So maybe what you would want to do is get into something along the lines of having it be johnsmith.realestate or something like that, right? So we can try that. And see what's going on, right? So sometimes they're available, sometimes they're not, and just go from there. So it looks like John Smith is available. John Smith Real Estate is available. So this could be one for $129. This could be all you, and go for it, right? So if you have a less common name, so my particular name, Jeremy Rupp, jeremyrupp.com, which we're going to look at here in just a second. I've had it for years and years and years now, but less common, although it's surprising that there are folks with my name out there. But nonetheless, the idea is that depending on where it is, you have to play around with it a little bit and get a little bit creative on how to particularly brand yourself, all right? So I guess for me, having it just be my name, it would allow me to be in potentially different careers over the time of my life, because I could change the content on it. But nonetheless, if I had jeremyrupp.realestate, it would pigeonhole that a little bit, and that's perfectly fine. I'm just throwing that out there when it comes time for you to go about doing this. So then the next thing you would do is you'd buy this, right? You'd have to create an account on here and so on and so forth and purchase it. Let me just find another one where it is not $129, because typically it's not that expensive. So I put in something a little bit obscure. John Lee. So johnlee.com is available, and it is $2.99. But it looks like it'll be, let's see, $17.99 next year, something like that. So anyway, it's typically 10, 12, 15, something like that bucks a year for it, which is relatively typical. And then again, down here, it's going to give you a few options. So if you wanted to buy a few different ones, you're more than welcome to, right? So again, $129, if that was scaring you a little bit, I wanted to show you that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. So that's part one. So part two is that, oh wait, actually, let me not get away from part one quite yet. So I don't know if you know who this gentleman is, but he wrote the 4-Hour Work Week. He's kind of changed the world, frankly. But for whatever reason, he chose not to use his full name.com as where a lot of his traffic goes. So tim.blog is where he sends a lot of people, and maybe it's, he has, his last name is Ferriss, So maybe he chose that for a reason, because people may misspell it. I have no idea why he did it, because tim.blog is very simple. But the idea here is just to give you an idea of different ways that you might want to go about doing this. Maybe your name is John Smith, but you did John.real estate, to his point here of tim.blog. But at the end of the day, the point here is we don't want to just blend in with everybody. We want to set ourselves apart. This is a relatively simple thing to do. If your full name's available, I personally think that's great, but there's alternative ways to go about doing this. As you can see, here's mine. Mine's my name. If you just type in my name, it pops up, and then you can see all sorts of stuff on here, and this is changing all the time. So yeah, this is what we have going on, and so here's the deal, everybody, is that when we come back to our mind map here, is that what we want to do is, so far in this mind map, and if you haven't, if you don't have the rest of it, check below, and we have some links there for you to figure out how to get the full one, and or do a free consultation call with us. That's an option as well, and we'll put that information down below. But the idea here is that we want to be intentional about how we operate, right? So again, in the real estate industry, it seems like a lot of folks that get into it, and maybe even sort of the cultural norm, is that there's not a lot of, it seems like people overlook some of the fundamental business strategies that are in, say, other industries. And maybe I'm out of the loop here in terms of this, because I've been in this for so long, but it sort of seems like to us that, and all the folks that we talk to, that being intentional about stuff like this, about branding yourself, for some reason it has been overlooked for too long. And so we want to share this opportunity with you. It's a relatively small investment in yourself on a yearly basis, and then it doesn't require you to rely on, say, your broker or Zillow or some of these other things. And what we want to do, our ultimate goal when we work one-on-one with people, is we want you to break free from all that stuff. Not saying to tell your broker to kick rocks, that's not what we're going for, but to have some independence and have your own brand and not have to rely on them, even though you do gain value from Zillow potentially, or your broker, or these other folks, is that you're a business. So act like one, basically. And this is, a fundamental part of doing that. So I hope you enjoyed this. It's going to be some links down below. Please click on the ones that are applicable for you, and we'll see you on the next one. And thank you so much. Talk to you soon.